Oh my God, my eyes teared up as I listened to this story. This AI summary was put together from publicly available material. It may contain errors and mispronunciations. I'm Elton Sherwin, the producer of this series.
Welcome to The Deep Dive. Today we're looking at a story you might think you know, but the details are truly staggering. We're doing a deep dive into what happened to actress Sharon Stone back in 2001.
That's right. And this isn't just, a celebrity health scare story. It's a look at a massive brain hemorrhage, a terrifying misdiagnosis, and what it really costs to survive something like that.
So let's set the stage. In 2001, she has a subarachnoid hemorrhage, an SAH. What exactly is that?
It's a devastating bleed in the brain. In her case, the sources say a ruptured artery bled for 9 straight days. 9 days.
Wow.
And our mission here is really to distill the key factors from the source material. How she was initially dismissed, the brutal physical recovery, and the unbelievable personal cost.
And the stakes right from the beginning were just astronomical. Her survival rate was estimated at 1%. Just 1.
Which makes the first part of this story even more alarming. The immediate crisis wasn't just the bleed itself, it was how she was treated when she got to the hospital.
Okay, so let's start there. She feels this lightning bolt-like pain in her head.
Yeah, she described it exactly like that. And in medical terms, that's a thunderclap headache. It's a classic textbook symptom.
It's the biggest red flag you can get for a hemorrhage, isn't it?
Absolutely. It should trigger immediate, aggressive action.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not what happened.
No. Instead, she was dismissed. Here's this global star presenting with the most obvious symptom, and she gets ignored.
Well, not just ignored. According to her account, they did an initial angiogram, and they missed the bleed completely.
They missed it.
Missed it. And their conclusion was that she was faking it.
Faking it. I just can't get my head around that. They were apparently getting ready to send her home.
Untreated, with a 1% chance of survival. It really highlights this point she made later. She said, "What I learned is that in a medical setting, women often just aren't heard."
And that feels like a huge part of this story. So what saved her? What was the turning point?
Her best friend, the sources are really clear on this, her friend was there and just would not back down.
So advocacy.
Fierce advocacy.
Mm-hmm.
She basically talked the medical staff into doing a second angiogram. And that one finally showed the bleed and the ruptured artery.
So after 9 days of this nightmare, they finally know what they're dealing with. They had to move fast, I assume.
Immediately. They performed what's called an endovascular coil embolization.
Which is what exactly?
It's a pretty intense procedure. They thread a catheter all the way up from the groin into the brain to place this mass of coils at the site of the rupture.
And that blocks the blood flow.
It stops the bleed. But, the bleed had been happening for 9 days. The damage was already done.
Right. Stopping it is just the first step. Let's talk about that damage, the neurological fallout. The blood had been pouring into the fluid around her brain and spine.
And the consequences were, they were immediate and severe. The right side of her face fell.
Okay.
Her left foot was dragging so bad that she couldn't walk properly. And she developed aphasia.
The inability to communicate.
Right. Can't find words, can't speak properly. And on top of that, a stutter that just wouldn't go away.
And the sensory issues sound just as bad. It took months to get the feeling back in her leg.
Months for her leg, and years for her vision to return to normal. She also had changes to her sense of smell, sight, touch. Think about it. She couldn't read for 2 years.
2 years? It's unimaginable. And what about the pain?
She described getting these weird knuckle-like knots on her head. She said the pain was indescribable, like being punched over and over again.
So when we talk about recovery, we're not talking about a few weeks. The sources say her full recovery took 7 years.
7 years. And even in the early stages of that, she was still dealing with memory loss and the stutter. It's just a long, long road.
Which leads us to the other costs, the ones that go way beyond the hospital.
Exactly. The financial and professional devastation.
This part of the story is, frankly, just as shocking as the medical side. She was at the absolute peak of her career. She'd saved up $18 million.
$18 million. And while she's fighting for her life, just trying to learn to walk and talk again, that financial security just evaporates.
How? What happened to the money?
She's been very direct about it. She said that people took advantage of her when she was at her most vulnerable.
She had a major brain injury.
Of course. And when she was finally able to check her bank account, she said, quote, "It was all gone."
All of it.
The sources detail how things like her refrigerator and phone were put in other people's names. She was left with, in her words, zero money.
That is just terrifying. If someone that famous with that much money can lose everything while incapacitated, it just shows you how vulnerable anyone is.
And a total systemic failure. And the trauma wasn't just financial. This is also when her marriage ended.
And she lost custody of her child.
The whole foundation of her life just crumbled. It was a complete implosion.
And professionally, she says she's still feeling the effects today.
She does. She said she doesn't get hired a lot now. She calls herself a disability hire.
Because she needs accommodations.
Specifically, she needs 8 hours of uninterrupted sleep, so her medication to prevent seizures will work properly. It's a brutal reality.
But what's so incredible is how she chose to respond to all this loss. That's where the story really shifts.
Yeah, toward resilience. She talks about this conscious choice she made to let go of the bitterness or anger.
Which must have been immense.
Unimaginable. But she decided to stay present and let go, because holding on to that anger was just going to hold back her recovery.
And it seems like it forged a new kind of personality.
It did. She says she became more emotionally intelligent, but also abrasively direct. She jokes about it now.
What does she say?
Something like, "I have brain damage, you'll just have to deal with it."
That's amazing. There's a power in that and just owning it.
There is. And for a while, she said she hid her disability. She was afraid people wouldn't accept her if she wasn't just fine. But now she's completely open about it.
And she's turned it into advocacy.
Serious advocacy. She's used her platform, going on Oprah, presenting at the Life After Stroke Awards. But maybe most importantly, she's on the board of the Barrow Neurological Foundation.
Which is connected to her surgeon, right?
Yes, it supports the institute led by Dr. Michael Lawton, the surgeon who performed her procedure. He actually calls her an inspiration.
So she's come full circle. From patient to advocate.
From a 1% chance of survival, losing everything she had, to now helping the very institution that saved her. It's an incredible arc.
So if there's one major takeaway from this for you, our listener, it has to be the critical need for advocacy in a medical crisis.
Absolutely. Having her friend there was, without a doubt, the difference between life and death for her.
It just underscores that surviving something like an SAH is only chapter 1. The rest of the book is this massive, multi-year ordeal of rebuilding a life.
And her philosophy of focusing on joy and purpose after all that loss, that's the mechanism that made it all possible.
We've seen how fame, fortune, everything can just vanish when someone is critically ill and can't fight for themselves. And that leaves us with a final thought.
Right. If a globally famous actress can be dismissed by her doctors and then lose her entire fortune and family while recovering from a neurological injury, it really makes you ask a tough question.
What systemic barriers are still in place for the millions of other people dealing with these kinds of invisible injuries, people who don't have a public platform? That's something to think about.
I'm just at a loss for words. This episode left me with so many questions, which you'll hear in the next few episodes. Please follow our show. This is Elton Sherwin. Stay safe and stay healthy.